Oh, man. Back.
We back?
We are back.
Are we on?
We are live.
I'll be damned. What was that lead-in we had?
Some derelict sent me a video of him enjoying the fights last Friday.
Somebody that was at International Fight Week.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Man who remained nameless. I've already labeled his sex. That's enough.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to another edition of Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast. Getting walked in here by King's X off of Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, Out of the Silent Planet. Check that one out on your own time. That's your required reading for this week, or listening. How the hell are ya? Hope all of you are doing pretty bueno on a Friday.
Yeah. It's good to be back. Well, I guess it's good to be back.
Really? See, that's why I find it fucking hard to find you being genuine here, because you were in Las Vegas 1 week ago, and then this week you're like, oh, no, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, this time last week I was suffering in 117-degree weather waiting for my will call tickets.
Yeah, but you were getting pie-eyed, weren't you?
Oh, it was... I mean, okay. If you've been in extreme heat, and you're not a fan, especially if you've fucking seen me, you know I'm not a big fan of the sun as it is, but
right.
Just go to Vegas in July. Why not?
Yeah, I plan on going to Duluth, Minnesota this coming Christmas. So that's the...
Oh, God.
You got to pick your battles, and that was the wrong battle.
Yeah, I went up to the will call and was like, yeah, I got these tickets through Ticketmaster, hook me up. And about 15 minutes later, got my tickets. But they were for fucking Section B. They were floor seats.
Like where the wealthy people sit.
Yes, we're all the better offs. Get to enjoy the pugilistic
all
arts.
Your betters, yes.
So basically, I was like, fuck it. Nope, these are my tickets. Let's go. Go in, of course. Tickets just like, big red flag. No.
Like, no, sir. You look like you do not belong among these people.
So after hearing the Ed Herman and, Ed Herman, who the fuck did he fight? CB Dollaway.
Oh,
hearing them come out while I'm in the lobby of the T-Mobile Arena waiting for tickets 20 fucking minutes. I was a little upset.
Sure.
Finally got in. The picture on last week's podcast, was my view
of
everything
absolutely.
going on.
Yep.
But no, outside of that, got to go see people battle with jousts and swords and dragons and fire.
At the UFC event?
Well, no, this was nearby on another day.
The medieval times or whatever.
Yeah, got asked to leave a poker table.
Good.
Well,
it was Vegas. Did you find yourself any the ladies of the evening? The prostitutes, as some might call them?
I gotta admit, man, the females were not really doing it for me this round. It was kind of hit and miss, and more miss.
What about the marijuana? That's legal out there now.
Yeah, well, apparently everyone knows that, and it's really difficult to get shit. So, apparently that's thriving.
What's going on out there? Murder? I don't know.
Murder.
It's Sin City. I don't know. Apparently everything's a go except whacking fools. So, well, anyway, it's good that you had a good time out in Vegas.
I think I drank probably about 48 beer in a matter of 24 hours.
Because you have to, though, because you're throwing down a lot more money than you should, but they throw you free drinks in return, right?
Yeah. I was like, hey, if I make this $20 last an hour on this Game of Thrones penny slot and get 3 beer while I'm sitting here, that's basically $6 a beer.
And these are tall boys, right?
Yeah.
Not 3-2 like Oklahoma.
No.
Yeah.
No, these are legit. And you're paying for them anyway. And it's not like the service was at Swift either. There was a Deal or No Deal slot that was like right by where the beer wenches came out.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, fuck that. I'm going to go to this Deal or No Deal game. Play it real slowly, and every time a lady comes out, I'd be like, beer, please.
Wow. Well, good.
And also like tipped them as well. Be like, yeah, keep them coming. Yeah.
So how many beers do you think you probably drank gratis in Vegas over the 4 days?
Oh, God.
Is it under 80?
I would say it's around 80.
Okay, well, see, you got your money out of that.
Yeah.
So
not to mention...
that's kind of the over-under, 20 beers a day, right?
About 3-yard-long containers filled with frozen margarita.
How'd those turn out?
Terrible. That's what got me kicked off the poker table.
Yeah.
Because I got one that apparently was made with 151. It's called like 190 octane.
Well, any drink that has the word octane in it, you probably might want to fucking reassess where you're at.
No, I'd sit down at the poker table, and I'm like doing really good. But every time I'd win a big hand, I would drunkenly hop up off the table, grab about $10, $15 in chips that I just won, and go run and give them to my friend. Now, here, hold on to these for me.
You were leaving an active table.
Yeah. Well, really, what the
without
crime...
cashing out.
The crime I was committing was taking money off the table that those gentlemen didn't have a chance to win back while I was still playing.
Okay.
So apparently that's a big no-no.
It is a big no-no.
And I was told that 4 times.
4 times?
Yeah, I was told that 4 times, but I did it 5 times.
Well, the 5th time is the charm.
It is, but I think I was still at about $250, so they were probably really happy to get rid of me.
What else goes on in Vegas? Other kinds of heathenry exist. Did you go down mess with the homeless people, the panhandlers this time? Or?
No, they were all selling bottled water on the overpass walkways. They were but there was no ice chest. It was just hot bottles of water. Because I'd like to reiterate, it was 117 fucking degrees.
Well, maybe a warm bottle of water is better than...
A bottle of water left in my car would have been fucking more palatable than that.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
And you stayed...
Stayed the mighty Stratosphere.
Yeah. I guess that's the go-to to try to be kind of cheap.
But cheap, but still have a little bit of luxury, you know?
Yeah.
Get to go up to the top of that shit and check out a pretty good view of the Strip. Absolutely.
Bellagio, not the place to go necessarily.
The Botanical Garden was lovely.
Well, I guess you can go there.
You can go there, but I didn't feel like I could do anything, let alone touch anything.
Yeah.
I mean, hell. We're just street trash.
I want to be able to go where I can put my hands on things.
I want to touch the flowers and the lintel paintings of the fucking umbrellas.
I learn by touching things.
That's how Keller learned. That's how I must learn.
Well, if for those of you that are still fucking with us,
sorry about that.
Which you never know. It's been 7 minutes. Okay, this is the Mead Metal and MMA podcast. Good news this week as we start with the Mead front. Our batch that we're quite proud of, Runestone. That is our orange Malamo with a little vanilla. That is done.
That's
by
it.
done, I mean, well, give me the Joe Rogan. That's it. Yeah, it is. It's done. It is fully labeled. It is shrinks are on, and already we've shipped to some of our supporters. If you're wanting to figure out how to become a supporter, message Brandon. He's probably the account you're watching this off of YouTube, and we'll get you the deets as you need to know. So yes, and it's a beautiful looking batch. Are we going to probably do that for the screen this week?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So,
I was going to do one of me cornholing that drunk in Vegas, but I think the Runestone bottles do a lot
was it
prettier.
Judge Reinhold?
No, Jude. Oh, goddamn.
It was Judge Reinhardt, yeah. Like
Judd Nelson.
Oh, Judd Nelson, yeah.
Judge Reinhold, that's a Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, of Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like, screw this idiot. Let's go back and cornhole us some drunks.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is probably pretty close to accurate for Las Vegas cops. But
no,
anyway.
the Runestone looks beautiful. I think it's one of our prettier overall bottles.
Now, you've put away a couple of them just to make sure they're safe for human consumption.
I did. I've gone through 3, and I think they're okay.
Nice.
The label, by the way, done by Ruben Gonzalez. His fine handiwork on our beautiful bottle of Runestone Mead. I think it's a very refreshing mead. A mead that's not meant to be drank quickly, I don't think.
Did you find that out the hard way? Or?
Oh, yeah, of course. That's
Okay.
how I find everything out. No, it just...
can she take a sword or can't she take a sword?
Yeah, it's it does have a little bit of punch to it. But if you really want to appreciate the whole profile of what we're doing, light sips.
Yeah, and probably a little on the cool side. I don't think you necessarily want to jump into that one both feet first at room temperature. Well, unless that's your bag, but I think that probably the profile, and it doesn't need to be ice cold or anything like that. I'm talking probably 15 minutes in the fridge.
I've had it lukewarm. I've had it pretty chilly. The middle ground is where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that one. We're going to be moving over the Green Man batch. That's our green chili batch. I think we're going to move it and clarify it probably tomorrow. Just because of the fact that it is what it is. This mead and the honey that we're utilizing in combination with some of the yeast, it's creating a weird kind of cloudiness I'm not really all that great with. I don't want to get away from kind of our tried and true yeast that we utilize with the Lalvin T47. I don't know why it's doing this weird little cloudy thing lately with the honey that we're utilizing. Now, the honey I know is legitimate. That's from Tulia, Texas. There's something else going on there.
Do you think weather might have something to do with it?
Weather could be. Summertime actually does create weird blooms in the yeast.
Yeah.
The warmer the temperatures get. However, we do keep most of anything that's under fermentation pretty near a cool air register. So it is actually.
Yeah, and this is a pretty climate-controlled area.
It really is. Yeah, I mean. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm more than happy to clarify, and then probably within the next 2 weeks, then we'll have the green chili added.
Oh, looking forward to that.
Yeah, it is. It's in my top 3 favorite batches. It really is. So we'll have that one hopefully ready by. I'm aiming for mid-August, which means it'll probably be right before Labor Day. So
just in time for August 26th.
That's the Conor McGregor deal.
Yeah.
Let's hold that just a moment down to the metal side. That's the mead portion of the podcast. Let's get to the metal side. Kind of a fun one here. We pulled up last night and watched the live shot of Paul Bearer doing what's the track that they
Plea
have?
for Understanding.
Yeah, it's the last one on their newest album. And it was fine, and the sound quality is not bad. It's actually by a fan, which is shocking.
Yeah,
because
not
usually
bad quality.
Fans shoot terrible video. Let me just point that out right now.
Well, you have those fans that are really there more to record the show than to be there to enjoy.
And I've got a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention her name, but she shoots no less than 120 still photos at every concert she goes to.
Wow.
And it's like, well, how the fuck are you enjoying the concert? Well, she doesn't. She watches it through a phone. I'm there for the experience. I will take jack all on photos.
Yeah. I took a few videos at the fights last Friday.
Yeah.
But basically, I just had my camera up in the air, like probably a solid 1.5 feet above my head.
Right.
And my eyes were glued to the action, so I wasn't even really sure I was getting a good shot or not. That's why it's a little shitty.
That's okay.
But at the end of the day, that really doesn't fucking matter because people that watch that shit through their phones, they're just missing out on everything.
But it's really it's good. You kind of get the sense of what the live show from Paul Bearer really is, because really, unless you live in Canada or some parts of Montana or Europe, you're not going to see him this year. So check it out. But I do think it was interesting though that Brandon had a very astute point, because we're watching it, and as the fan video. Again, it's actually shot really well. Fans take terrible videos because they're all over the place. They're trying they're trying to cover everything, and you just get this weird motion sickness watching them. But this was actually really, really good. But you had the observation that everybody at that show is a young white male. I thought, that's
more
true.
than likely single.
Not one female,
unless they got a girl that's just like, that's fine, honey. Just go out and enjoy yourself.
Which is weird because I don't think of Paul Bearer as being angry young white man music, but that's the attendees of the concert we saw.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of variety in that audience.
And I mean, I think diversity is a good thing, and there was none to be had really at that one from the looks of things. But anyway, check that one out on
fire me up another
on
one.
YouTube. Yeah. Actually, hey, we're kind of semi-celebrating today because I'm like a week out from vacation. But also, Walmart finally started carrying, sons of bitches, the whiskey we prefer, which is Bullet Rye. And
this week's podcast brought to you by Bullet Rye.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll endorse these people. So we're getting our preferred whiskey on the cheap now. So that's always a good thing.
And local.
Other metal news? Do you have anything that you got? I guess we have. I don't know.
A couple things.
Okay.
So we've all been waiting for this Tool album to come out.
For what? 7? No.
10
years. 10 years. Yeah. Okay.
And as of late, of course, we've heard everything from its 3/4 of the way done to all that's left is polish and we're good.
Right.
There's actually been a little more advancement on the Perfect Circle front as far as the new album goes.
Didn't the drummer say that they're not even that don't even expect it?
They're saying don't expect it this year, which is what they say fucking every year.
Yeah.
But as far as the Tool album goes, it's not even fucking tracked yet.
Okay.
They've made basically they're still writing.
So they're like as far along on their new album as we are on our current single.
Yeah. And Maynard, because he was on Rogan's podcast,
yeah,
and he just basically kind of said, look, it is a long fucking process to write a Tool album.
It is, but if you've been a band and you were able to, okay, between the first and second album was what, 2 years?
I think so.
I mean, it seemed like the problem is the knock becomes if you were doing something and you were able to do it with fairly fluid, here we go. It's every couple of years. It's a new one coming out. But then suddenly then you can't do a new one inside of 10 years, a la Winter Sun or somebody like that. The question gets raised, well, why were you able to do it before? Which actually is not Winter Sun because they've never cranked out a record in under 8 years, I don't think. But
no, they have their formula and they stick to it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's kind of an interesting little deal when you start talking about bands that were very regular. Look, Moon Sorrow, they were cranking out an album every year and a half, 2 years. But it was like 4 years, for this last one. Now,
which they addressed.
Which was well worth the wait, but...
Oh, yeah. No, Yamato Noika is an album well worth the wait.
Which actually I had a little hilarious little aside on Twitter. Henry Cervalli from Moon Sorrow went to Germany, and he was talking about all the tan people they would see there because Germany's the hot spot of catching sun. And so you can always tell the Finnish because of the alabaster, something or another. Because of the fact that they go to like Germany and they look all white. I mean, compared to German people, which frankly are usually okay. Well, let's face facts. Germans do get sun. They get out. They're an outdoorsy people. I get it, but if you're Finnish, yeah, you're pretty. You're
pasty.
You're talcum powder white. So.
All right. 25 years ago today, 1992, Megadeth's Countdown to Extinction was released. Great fucking Megadeth album. It's when they started to kind of go a little bit commercially safe.
I was going to say, wasn't that what a lot of Megadeth fans would say is kind of the death knell?
No. That would be Risk.
Okay.
The album that came out after Cryptic Writings, which Cryptic Writings is one of my favorite for coming out like 1998, 97, 98. They put out Risk, which had they put a song on the Universal Soldier movie that came out in like 99.
Oh, shit, yeah.
That had that pro wrestler Bill Goldberg and Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
Right.
So they made a song for that movie, and it was so poppy, so weird, and the whole album was almost basically a big failure.
Yeah, but Countdown to Extinction. No, okay, so that was 92.
Yeah. It's Sweating Bullets on it.
No, I mean, and that was actually getting a lot of radio play. And I'm not wanting to talk bad about radio because I know which side my bread's buttered on. But if you're a metal band and you start getting a lot of airplay, doesn't that really kind of reveal something about you?
It shows you. It lets you know what direction you're headed for sure.
Yeah. Well, again, more power to them. And I'm not going to knock any band for doing what they got to do. It's strikingly like a T-shirt I saw off of Teespring last week that said, "Hey, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20." So I mean, that might very well be Megadeth to some degree from 1992.
Yeah, no shit. And real quick, Bill Ward, drummer of Sabbath of the Black, gave his top 10 metal albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just go through here. Number 8, Fear Factory with Mechanized, which kind of freaks me out, but that has to be because of the drummer in him.
Yeah.
Number 6, Typo Negative, October Rust, which kind of blows me away. It's a great fucking album. Number 5, Motorhead, The World Is Yours.
Right.
Number 4, basically the best of Judas Priest, so all the good Judas Priest shit.
Yeah.
Number 3, a Slipknot album, The Gray Chapter.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Number 2, Metallica's Black Album.
Okay.
Kind of weird.
That
Kind of weird.
That's a little bit depressing because, look, I love the Black Album just like anybody, but if you're a drummer and you've named off all these other ones that are really that you can appreciate,
Really percussion eccentric.
Yeah, and then you name Black Album as one of your as number 2 on the list.
Yeah, good hooks, but not as good as anything on Justice for All or Master of Puppets.
I call bullshit a bit.
And number 1, Black Sabbath, Master of Reality.
Well, good. Well, at least he knows what side his bread's buttered on. So.
All right.
We good with the medal portion, or
I think so.
Yeah, because I don't know of anybody important that's had a birthday this week necessarily.
Nah.
I'm sure I'm missing.
I think
somebody
Jon
somewhere.
Jones turns 30 this week.
Check
And
that
dude
shit out.
used
That
to be
dude-
28.
That guy hadn't fought in a couple of years. He was the youngest champ ever in the UFC, and he's only just now turning 30.
Whew.
And by God, I hope he destroys DC coming up later this month. But
It's going to make or break either of them. A loss is not going to sit well with either man.
yeah, well, because if DC loses again, he can't call for a third fight. A trilogy's only good if
No,
it's one
and he's not
one.
going to grind for another shot. He's going to retire. If he gets beat, that's it.
Well, yeah. I don't know. But if Jones loses, I mean, it's time for him to go ahead and go the way of Ronda Rousey and recognize that your time has been passed.
Really? You think he should hang it up if he fails to beat Cormier?
I think so.
God, I don't know, man. That light heavyweight division is still really thin.
It is thin. I'll give you that. And he's got a lot of skills. The problem I have is that I was not impressed with the Jon Jones that I saw fighting over in St. Pierre.
Yeah, sure. No, agreed.
And if that's the Jon Jones we get coming out later this month, well, you know, he's going to have to pull some Conor McGregor shit and try to get in DC's head, which he actually does fairly easy. And it's easy to get in DC's head because there's not much there.
There's a lot of room to fuck around.
There is a lot of room. So I don't know. I mean, I would love to see Jon Jones be able to come back. You get all these people, like, he's such a bad role model for children. I've got 3 words for you, and that's go fuck yourself. Because he's a fighter. He's not a role model. This man is out there to bring violence to fools that are willing to oppose him in the octagon. And to think that, oh, but what about their children? Well, I'm sorry. You're a horrible individual and a horrible human if you're letting your children watch UFC fights. I'm serious.
I'd let my child watch UFC fights.
Oh, I would too, and I would acknowledge the fact I'm a bad parent.
Yeah,
at the time,
I would sleep the sleep of the just.
That's it. I'd say, "Come on, Daffodil, bring me that whiskey."
I'm gonna show you why what this gentleman did to this man's crotch was wrong.
I mean, it is that. And Jon Jones is not a good human being. He's not a good role model. But guess what? He's a great fighter, or at least used to be. And that's what I want to see.
Right.
I want to see a great fighter come out and dominate.
Yeah.
Speaking about somebody dominated, what were your thoughts on Mr. Ronda Rousey getting thrashed last weekend? I started asking a lot of friends on Twitter about this. One of them... a friend of mine, she's in Glasgow. Is it time for the promotion? No, I'm not saying is it time for Travis Brown to retire. Is it time for the promotion to show him the door and say, I'm sorry, but your services are no longer needed here?
Well, that happens. You know, Bellator will just scoop him up.
Yeah, for cheap.
But that's, it's still not going to fix the underlying problem. That motherfucker still trains in Glendale.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Because he finally found a gym that doesn't push him and make him have to work and become a better fighter.
It was the gym that was the star, not the fighter.
Right.
And now the gym...
No, because Jackson Wink, he had to earn everything, and he didn't like that. He wanted to come in and kind of get the star treatment. They don't give anybody star treatment up there. If you follow Donald Cerrone on Instagram, you'll know for a fact, they might have their preferred fighters, but you're going to work to stay there. And I think Travis Brown, that was his problem. He finally found a gym where he doesn't have to work to stay there. And that's not a good thing.
No, this is a guy that no longer has any more drive, in my opinion.
What else? Gaethje?
Justin Gaethje. God,
Good God. Fight of the year, probably? Against Michael Johnson last weekend?
I would at least say one of the best UFC debuts ever. coming in and beating a 5th-ranked fighter.
Yeah, no, it was a 5th rank
Although-
against unranked. I mean, I thought it was a dumb fight for Michael Johnson.
Even though Gaethje is, was 17-0 at the time before the fight, World Series of Fighting champion, all-around bad motherfucker, a very reckless bad motherfucker, and he'll be the first to admit it.
Still reckless.
That's why he got hurt so many times in that fight.
No, he would have got dropped in the first round if there was an extra 10 seconds.
But what a fucking chin.
Yeah.
Johnson has hit people with less and put them down.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy, you knew he was wobbled and hurt, but what he was able to do with that leg game, he took that, I think it was his right leg, completely out. Michael Johnson was staggering around the whole time, on top of being extremely hurt late in that second round.
I mean, well, when you take somebody's wheel away, you remove a lot of their game.
Yeah.
Johnson, I think, had probably every desire to take that one to the ground.
But he also did not look like a 5th-ranked fighter.
No, he looked pretty bad. You're right.
He went against his entire game plan. He says, I'm not gonna stand there and scrap with him.
And he did.
That's exactly what he did.
He decided to stand and bang.
Pulled
right
the old
away.
rumble. The old rumble. Says, no, I'm not going to go in there and punch you in the mouth. I'm going to wrestle you.
That was still a little raw wounds over here on that one.
Shit.
That's,
that co-main though, the Ultimate Fighter finale co-main, which it was really kind of cool to see that whole thing. See Dana White give the check and the little shitty glass trophy they had. But Jesse Taylor looked really good.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
He's an older guy, kind of long in the tooth in his career.
No, his wrestling's on point.
Yeah, it's really good to see him get a paycheck, get a job. Now he can go fucking around screaming he's a UFC fighter and tear up all the hotel rooms he wants.
Because that's the thing. So
yeah, well, that's what he got kicked off the show for originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for just being an asshole.
You can't usually make me watch The Ultimate Fighter. I've got Fight Pass. I can watch it for free anytime I want. You ain't catching me watching an episode. I will watch their finales because those are actually in the octagon.
Sure.
And they usually build them up pretty well, which you made the right choice. You went to the Ultimate Fighter finale on the Friday instead of UFC 213, and you look like a goddamn genius.
Yeah, I mean, I had some pretty good luck in Vegas, apparently. No, man, yeah, especially when I woke up the next day, like, Saturday, last day in Vegas, time to go, get some shit done here. And I see that message from you. That the Nunes fight got fucking pulled.
Yeah, no, Amanda Nunes is.
I was like, I saw that bitch weigh in last night.
Yeah.
What, sinus inflammation? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was sinus. And any fighter knows it's hard to fight when your sinuses are plugged. Well, here's the problem, though. Is when you're medically cleared, it gets really hard to support the idea of why you pulled yourself out of a fight on the fight day.
Right.
That's the problem. And Dana White is so pissed off that he can't see straight. Which, by the way, does Dana White have brain damage?
He might have a little pee on the brain for sure. Yeah.
We have a little bit of evidence coming from Joe Rogan on this particular account.
Yeah, kind of an interesting revelation. I mean, it's still just like an idea because after Red's like, oh, Dana White was a boxer. Well, shit, I guess it's even more possible then. And he is a very angry man.
Yeah.
And, a little much at times, just like saying, women's bantamweight title will never main event a pay-per-view ever again.
Yeah.
And Mighty Mouse can go fuck himself. I'll dissolve his whole division.
Yeah, I mean, who does that? A crazy person does that. Maybe he does have CTE. I don't know.
And like you said the other night, it's going to get to a point where fucking WME is going to be like, you got to fucking go, man.
I think we're probably pretty close to that.
I think Dana White's gone by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
he was
their choice or of his own volition.
Yeah, I think he was the perfect guy for the transition from the Fertittas over to WMG. Because it's still all Zuffa. It's just a change of ownership, but I do think, he's getting paid a pile of money, and he's very angry. Threatened to shut down entire weight classes just because of one fighter not doing what he wants him to do. You can't do that. And they've been asking some very crazy things as an organization. They were wanting Mighty Mouse. They were wanting Demetrius Johnson to fight T.J. Dillashaw, who has never, by the way, since high school, made the cut to 125. Dillashaw probably actually would have a lot of success at 145 except for the fact that he's still able to make that weight cut to 135. He didn't, because the older you get, the harder that weight cut gets.
Yeah.
That guy has never cut to 125 as an adult. And I think that Mighty Mouse has got the right idea. Let him get that cut to weight. Let him go out and fight somebody at 125. Then let's talk about a fight. Don't just immediately give him a title fight, having never made weight before. It sounds crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, I still think it would have done nothing but favors for Mighty Mouse if he just said, fuck it, let's do it.
I don't know how that fight would get made. But, yeah, I think you're kind of right. There is a little bit of whinging on his part, too.
Yeah. Because, I mean, even if Dillashaw didn't make weight, it wouldn't make Mighty Mouse look any worse. He'd already look like a bad motherfucker for just accepting the fight.
Yeah, and if Dillashaw's 1 pound over, well, there you go. Then it's no longer a title fight. So
yeah, then it's just a 5-round exhibition.
The problem is, I think Demetrius Johnson is the pound-for-pound best fighter on planet Earth, but it did make him look like a pussy.
It did him no favors. But he did win an SP the other night.
Yeah, well, yeah, contrary to what his promotion would probably
yeah,
think.
exactly.
But,
like, well, now he's got a little more hardware outside the UFC that states his claim.
Let's get to tomorrow morning, I guess, if you're up for watching fights from Glasgow. Yeah, for you Glaswegians.
By the way, the fight of the night outside of the Gaethje and Johnson fight, that Drakkar Klose and Mark Diakase fight, where dude took the split decision. Fucking great fight. And they hated each other. That always made it good, too.
Hate always makes for good fights.
And UFC Legends panel, Don Fry, Minotauro Nogueira, fucking Boss Root, and Tito Ortiz for some reason. Really awesome.
Is Tito Ortiz making nice with UFC again?
I guess since he retired from Bellator, now he can kind of just participate wherever the fuck he wants.
He's going to box with Dana White again?
I hope so. That'd be a hell. They should have that in the undercard for McGregor and fucking Mayweather.
Which we're going to not talk about that this week.
It's been talked about enough by the two participants.
Oh, my God. All right, let's move on to Glasgow tomorrow. It's actually a pretty reputable card. It's serviceable in terms of if you're wanting to find some good things to watch, it'll do that. It'll entertain you. I think there's going to probably be a lot of finishes.
Yeah. You got Leslie Smith on a card, the lady whose ear fucking exploded on live television.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's going to bust her ear open this time?
Looks like I got Charlie Ward battling.
Okay.
Neil Seery. Then we get up to the main card. Khalil Roundtree. I remember that motherfucker.
Right.
Stevie Ray and Paul Felder.
Stevie Ray is don't pick against him. All I can say is until he loses one, that guy's been very dominating in a weird fashion too, in a very weird Scottish fashion.
I picked Paul Felder.
Well, you're dumb then. That's what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Hey, I will not have you question my intelligence at this table.
Don't pick a man on fire from Glasgow fighting in Glasgow. I mean, what are you crazy? Change your pick. Jesus, man.
No, I like to be contrarian to anything Scottish.
And it's Paul Felder. God.
That's right. You watch. White boy's going to get it done.
What, and fucking Stevie Ray's not white. Jesus, he's more white than Paul Felder.
He's whiter. Co-main, Joanne Calderwood versus Cynthia Cavillo. Now here I'll go with the Scott.
Again, yes.
That's just because she has a very beautiful voice. That would sing me to sleep while she's beating the shit out of me. Oh, don't you worry about going to bed.
Which I'm sure she would.
No, I like her in that fight. I see a finish, actually. She's one of the few strawweight fighters that I think can...
Her and the champ.
Yeah, that would be a great fucking fight. I think Calderwood would get her bell rung.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, I think that Joanne's still learning a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I think we will see. I think at some point we will see Joanna fight
just
Calderwood.
Because Calderwood's next in line.
Yeah, Joanna's going to clean out. She's going to
thing.
clean out the division like Mighty Mouse did, sure. But I think the trick is going to be for Calderwood to get the skills under her belt enough to where then she actually is able to provide a pretty good challenge to Joanna.
And we haven't seen her fight since she lost to Andrade.
Yeah, that's right.
Who got the title shot after that fight?
Yeah. It's just a mill at the top of that division, and Joanna is just dealing. So
yeah, I think she's going to do well. I think she's going to crumple her.
All right. What else we got?
Main event. Gunnar Nelson taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Man, I like the Argentinian here.
I know
Oddly
you do.
enough, I mean, Ponzinibbio's got some. I like his overall skill set better. If this thing was a boxing match, yeah, shit, I'd sign me up for Gunnar right now. And I like Gunnar. Don't get me wrong, but the guy looks a little out of water, fish out of water when things are not stand and bang.
Yeah. I mean, well, Gunnar has looked really good his last few fights against Tumanov and Joban. Subbed them both.
Yeah.
Got a little extra cash on the back end there for him. Dana loved it hard. Ponzinibbio, same thing. I mean, he's knocked out Court McGee. Took Taleb and Zach Cummins to the distance. Last loss, Lorenz Larkin back in 15. I mean, it's almost a pick 'em for me.
The problem I have with these two guys, I think their skills are very on par with each other. And what that means is parity. With a T, not a D. But
pair of titties?
Pair of titties. But it's parity within that particular fight. That tells me we're going to get a 5-rounder and it's going to go to a decision. I think that's probably the way that will go. I think it's going to be a great card, and a lot of people are going to piss and moan about the main event being very lackluster, although I think the main event will be very technical. Yeah. If you're a fan of the sport and you appreciate the technicality of what these people bring to the table, that will be a good fight.
Yeah. Once it starts going to the fucking ground, don't immediately start getting bored, because this is usually when the magic starts to fucking happen.
If you're, but the problem is, though, is if you're a guy that or a gal that sits back and says, I just want to see some action, that's not going to be the fight for you. It will be the first round, but second round through 5, it's probably going to be dull, barring a flash knockout.
As far as the pick goes, I am going Gunnar Nelson by a finish in the third round, sub-finish.
I'm going Ponzinibbio by split decision.
Wow, we really differ on everything except Calderwood.
Yeah.
See, we got common ground on something.
Yeah. Well, I was listening back to last week's podcast where I was making picks, and like, God damn, I'm a moron. But actually, there were a few of them, though, I hit right on the bell, though. So
yeah, and you know, when at the fights last week, all the decision ones, I had the points right and the winner right except for the split one. I knew it was a split decision, but I thought Diakese had taken it, but they given it to the other guy.
All right, picks for the week. What's your pick on liquor?
Well, I'm going brown today. I'm going to go Bullet Rye. I fucking missed it.
Yeah.
It was like $55 at the CVS in Vegas. Which, by the way, I did grab a $14 bottle of SPF 100 sunscreen and spray a little in my hand and put it on my body because I was dying.
I was going to wonder if you're going to just wear asbestos, but
yeah, it'd probably been safer.
So we've got I'm going the same. I think last week I was going cheap Jack and Bud. This week I'll go Bullet Rye. I'm good with that. Let's see, what else do we have going on?
Metal. I'm fucking going Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer on the metal
the
side.
The entire Heartless album.
I'm going to go King's X this week. Kind of a little because they're getting back together. They're getting ready to do another tour. Ty Tabor's one of my favorite guitar players, so I'm kind of happy about that. MMA, what you got for tomorrow? Who's going to be the big name?
I think Gunnar's going to get a $50K bonus tomorrow.
Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray all the way.
Catchy.
All right. All right, you bunch of savages. That's it for this week's podcast, number 32.
I think.
33. Yeah, last week.
30-something or other.
Yeah, my last week was by my lonesome 32. So, yeah, podcast number 33. And thanks for putting up with us this far. We got some big things coming up on the horizon. And we'll reveal those to you as we get a little further into the summer. So, outside of that, greetings and salutations. And goodbyes and farewells.
Oh, let fucking come on, man. You're making my balls shrivel back up into my body.
I didn't realize you had any, so we'll go ahead and get into this Friday evening. And let's get deep into this bottle of rye. And the rest of you, we'll check in with you next week.
Thank you, friends.